Thank you for joining us for our core curriculum parent presentation. I'm Sarah Snyder, the new Director of Counseling at George Mason High School. This presentation is designed to give you a brief overview of the courses we offer at George Mason and how they are sequenced throughout your students' high school experience. During this presentation, you will see an overview of each of the subject area departments presented by the collaborative team leaders, and a final presentation by our IB coordinator explaining the IB Diploma program. For a more in-depth look at the courses we offer at George Mason, we encourage you to review our 2021-2022 Program of Studies that contains all the courses available for students to request and includes course descriptions, prerequisites, and recommendations. You can find our Program of Studies online by going to the link on this slide or by going to the George Mason High School webpage, and under Academics, you will find the Program of Studies link. Now we will have Ms. Weston, our collaborative team leader for language and literature, also known as English, present on her department.
Hi, my name is Angela Weston, and I am the collaborative team lead for the English department at the high school. Students are required to take English each year that they're in high school. And our school offers two options for students in each grade level. Students can choose from a standard level course or from a higher level or honors course. The difference between the two courses in most cases is one of pace and rigor. In the 9th and 10th grade, both of those courses are within the middle years program for the International Baccalaureate. This means that they have the same number of units, whether they're in standard level or higher level or honors, and those units are assessed with the middle years program criteria. Each of the courses also aligns with the Virginia Standards of Learning. Students in the standard level course in both 9th and 10th grade may have more work that they complete in class. And this is often what affects the pace of the class. And so they may take an extra week or two on a unit than the honors level courses. The honors level courses may move faster, and they may also pick texts that are slightly more sophisticated in their structure and their content. In the 9th grade, all of the courses, the standard level and the honors, are part of our standards-based learning and grading initiative. In the 11th and 12th grades, students have two options, and they are both part of the IB Diploma program. Both of these courses are 2-year courses, so whatever students opt to take as juniors, they will also be taking as seniors. And in both courses, students will sit for IB exams and also complete IB orals, and in the higher level course, they will also complete another IB assessment. The standard level course is called Language and Literature, and it focuses on both the study of literature as in terms of plays, fiction, poetry, and nonfiction, as well as language, and that would be things like media literacy or the history of language or non-written forms of discourse. Students in those classes, in the standard level classes, will read fewer texts than the higher level course, and they will also complete, again, more of the homework in class or more of the work in class, and they will have 3 IB assessments they need to complete. Students in the higher level course will be studying mainly literature, and so they will have more texts that they study over the course of the 2 years, and those texts will fall in the 4 main literary forms, again, poetry, prose fiction, nonfiction, and drama. That course, again, will move through the text more quickly and will have a higher expectation of out-of-class work for students. Students also need to come to the higher level course with more independence and ability to engage in discussion and carry that discussion together to facilitate learning. Students also have the option to take what's called a High C English class. And this class is a blend of online learning and in-person instruction. The class is set up in Schoology, and students navigate through the units at their own pace. But the units are constructed by a teacher at the high school, and the teacher is present in the classroom to support the students, and the teacher also scores and gives feedback on the students' work. If you have any questions, please reach out and let me know.
This slide reiterates what Ms. Weston mentioned in her video about the course offerings in English for 9th and 10th grades. And this slide shows the options that Ms. Weston addressed for our 11th and 12th grade students. Next, we have Mr. Duche, our collaborative team leader for Individuals and Societies, also known as Social Studies, present on his department.
Hi, my name is Eric Duche, and I'm the CTO of the Individuals and Societies Department, also known as the Social Studies Department. And I'm going to talk to you about the different options that we have at each of the levels. If you'd like more detail on what's involved in these courses, we've created videos that you can go watch. And also the program of studies is useful. And if you have specific questions for me, you can reach out to me. My email is duchaje@fccps.org. So the first level for freshmen is all freshmen are going to take World History 2. This course follows the SOL standards from Virginia, and there is an exam at the end of this course. If a student has already passed a Social Studies SOL exam, they do not have to take the World History 2 exam at the end of the course. Many students that are coming from Henderson have already taken the World History 1 exam and would then be exempt from the World History 2 exam. 10th grade is our first level where you have options. You have government and AP government. The government course follows the SOL standards, but there is no exam at the end of this course. AP government is similar in content, but the differences here are that there's going to be an AP exam at the end of the course, and the reading and the writing and the level of homework is just a little bit higher in AP government than it is in government. In 11th grade, we have two options again. You have U.S. history and IB-HOA, History of the Americas. U.S. history is going to follow the Virginia standards again. And there is an exam at the end of this course. And just like in World History 2, if a student has not already passed a Social Studies exam, they would have to take the U.S. history exam. If they've already passed either World History 1 or World History 2, they do not have to take this exam. IB, History of Americas, also meets the U.S. history standards. It's taught a little bit differently, though. This course is going to be focusing on 3 case studies. The reading and the writing and the homework is very high level. And this is the first part of a 2-part course, essentially, for the IB program. In 12th grade, you are going to take, if you're continuing with this, you would take IB World History. IB World History is the second part that followed up after IB U.S. History. And there's an exam at the end of this course that's going to address both the content learned in IB History of Americas and IB World History. So those are our core classes through 12th grade. The courses that are required are World History 2, one of the government options, and one of the U.S. history options. Our electives, which we have a lot to offer. Our first one is IB Psychology. There's 2 options here. You have SL1, or SL, which is a 1-year course, and HO, which is a 2-year course. Both of these are going to have IB exams and IAs. Global Politics is IB course. It's going to look at international relations and many other government political topics. IB Business is obviously going to focus on business. There is an IA and an IB exam associated with this course. IB Economics is also going to have an IA. It's also an IB exam. This course also meets the requirements of personal finance and economics. So if a student is very interested in economics, this would meet that requirement while also giving them a little bit more depth and a little bit more material. A new course this year for us is African American History. We're really excited to be offering this course this year. We're going to be teaching it in a case study-based method, and we're going to cover a lot of American history through the lens and experience of African Americans. And finally, TOK is a part of the DP program where students are taught to think open-mindedly, critically, and differently. Again, any of these courses that you are interested in and would like to learn more about, there are videos you can watch. There's the program of studies, and you could contact me, again, at duchaje@fccps.org. And one final reminder, there are the 3 contents you do need to hit no matter what. That's World History 2, a government course, whether it's government or AP government, and a U.S. history course, whether it's U.S. history or IB History of the Americas. Thank you, and I hope this was helpful.
Next, we have Ms. O'Keefe, our collaborative team leader for math, present on the math department.
Hi everyone, my name is Jennifer O'Keefe and I am the collaborative team leader for the mathematics department. I'm here to talk to you a little bit about the structure of math courses and pathways for students here at the high school. So I'm going to spend the whole my whole conversation here on this little pathways map. It's in our program of studies online, and it just kind of helps guide you with what choices do you have as to once you complete a math course, where do you go next? And then I'm going to also start by saying one of the best things you can do to help make sure that you are in the right place is both talk to your current math teacher and then also talk with the counselor. So the counselor is going to really help the students know what is required, both if they're an IB diploma candidate or if just for graduation requirements. And then they also know a lot about the differences between these math courses and can help guide the student. And so when you're taking a look at this map, you just advance downward, starting from the top based on wherever you came into the high school at that level, and you continue from there. And then based on where you go from your course is dependent on how successful you are in that course and also kind of what are your goals in your mathematical high school career. So for instance, if you look at the geometry bubble right there in the kind of the middle, if you take regular geometry and say you're not quite ready for Algebra 2, then Algebra Function and Data Analysis is going to be a really good course to take, and then you can take Algebra 2 afterwards. So that's why you kind of have that detour there, but it's a really good way to get foundational skills to prepare you for Algebra 2. And then within these bubbles, you can even see with geometry or honors geometry, it says then you move on to Algebra 2 or honors Algebra 2 trig. We wanted to indicate that it's okay and it's perfectly acceptable if you take the honors geometry course and maybe it didn't go quite as well and you're not really ready for the honors Algebra 2 course, you can always take the regular Algebra 2. You could go from a regular geometry into the honors and kind of make that jump. And to make that jump from a regular to an honors class is possible. It will just most likely require the student completes a little bit of summer preparatory work to make sure that they are ready to go for that honors level course. And then once you get into Algebra 2 and beyond, so beyond Algebra 2 is when we enter into the IB level mathematics courses. And so all of our IB mathematics courses are 2 years, and so that's something to keep in mind if you are planning to try to go for the IB diploma or not. And then we offer, there's 2 different courses, IB Math Applications and Interpretations, or AI, and IB Math Analysis and Approaches, or AA. The Analysis and Approaches course we do offer at both the standard and higher level, and then the Applications and Interpretations course we only offer at the standard level. And so taking a look between those two just at the first year of them, IB Math AISL, year 1, is traditionally is most traditional to a pre-calculus course, just taught through like an IB lens and with IB style questions and whatnot. And then the IB Math Analysis and Approaches Year 1. That's Year 1 for both SL and HL. And that's a traditional honors pre-calculus course, again with that IB lens. And then from where you go after IB Math AA Year 1 is completely dependent as to what year you are, if you're a freshman, sophomore, junior taking that course, or also what are your goals and what do you want to take in your high school career. So again, I will say that I'm available for questions if you have any regarding the math pathways or the courses here that we offer, but your counselor is also a really good resource to help make sure that the student gets where they need to go by the end of their high school career.
Next, we have Ms. Pollock, our collaborative team leader for science, present on.
Hello, my name is Carrie Pollock, and I am going to talk a little bit about the science core curriculum offerings. So for starters, let's look at how many science courses a student should take. To earn the standard diploma in Virginia, a student must have a minimum of 3 science credits from 2 different disciplines, including one of those verified by a past SOL exam. To earn the Advanced Studies Diploma in Virginia, students must take 4 years of science from 3 different disciplines that also has 1 verified credit through the SOL exam. The science path generally starts with students taking biology in their freshman year. We offer it at the general level and the honors level. The difference between these 2 sections is the content depth and the expectations for time spent on homework, as well as the ability to design and conduct experiments in the lab and write up lab reports for those labs. Another option for 9th graders is the environmental science class. This is created as a skill development course, so it is a best fit for students that are still working on determining the steps of the scientific method, how to know which variable is independent and which is dependent, how to measure properly, how to use graphs to show data, and how to use math to process their data using formulas and appropriate processes. After 9th grade, students can take chemistry or earth science, or if they've taken environmental science their freshman year, they can take Bio 1. In general, we see students take chemistry after biology, and that is also offered at the general and honors level, again with the same differences, with a greater expectation for time spent on homework and the ability to conduct and write up labs. Earth Science is a survey course, and it takes a look at the 4 main sections of Earth Science, and it also is lab-based, but does not have the technical aspects that chemistry has at the 10th grade level. For upperclassmen, the options get more varied. One of the big questions is whether students will take a diploma program IB science course in their 11th or 12th grade year. If students take an HL course, it will be a 2-year course that covers 11th and 12th grade, as well as IB Enviro, which is a 2-year course and is taken in 11th and 12th grade. The SL IB classes otherwise are 1-year courses, so you could take IB SL Chem or Physics in your junior year, or you could take it during your senior year, because those are 1-year classes. For options that are not diploma program courses, we also offer Biology 2, Chemistry 2, and Earth Science 2. Earth Science 1 is an option that many juniors and seniors will add to their schedules as well, because they've taken biology and chemistry in their first 2 years. Bio 2 is abbreviated as HAP, which stands for Human Anatomy and Physiology. It is a look into all the organ systems of the body. Chem 2 is Forensics and Pharmaceuticals, so it's a look at crime investigations and the workings of major drug categories. Earth Science 2 is an astronomy course that is offered only in High C this year. If you or your child has questions about the science course offerings, please feel free to reach out to your science teacher or to me, Mrs. Pollock. The counseling team also has a very good understanding of all these offerings and is happy to help your child make a decision on which course is best for them next year. Thanks so much for listening, and good luck.
Next, we have Ms. Garcia, our collaborative team leader for language acquisition, also known as world languages, present on our language acquisition department.
Hello, I'm Holly Garcia, and I'm the collaborative team leader for the language acquisition department of Falls Church City Public Schools. Here in Falls Church City, we have 4 languages for students to pursue: Spanish, French, Chinese, and ASL. ASL is a new program to us, and as such is only offered in years 1, 2, and 3. As the program grows, we plan for ASL offerings to increase. Currently, ASL will not count toward an IB diploma, so students who are looking to pursue an IB diploma should choose Spanish, French, or Chinese. Spanish, French, Chinese, and ASL are part of the middle school and high school curriculum. Many students in our district, as 6th graders, have an opportunity to take a series of introductory courses to have a small experience of the language in order to make a wise choice for the continuation of their study. After those introductory levels, as 7th graders, many students choose to take a slower paced course, 1A, followed by 1B as an 8th grader, to set them off on a good start in the languages. Currently, ASL does not offer a 1A and 1B option. As the program grows, as I mentioned, that might be a future offering that is available. After students finish with 1A and 1B, or some students who choose to take 1 as a middle schooler, students move into Spanish 2, French 2, or Chinese 2. Some of them have already reached the high school, and then will continue with level 3. Levels 1, 2, and 3 are required by the Commonwealth of Virginia to get an advanced diploma. Once students finish with levels 1, 2, and 3 of any of our languages, they have an option to move forward. Spanish, French, and Chinese have established programs in the IB Diploma program. When students reach level 4, they often have some choices that they need to make. In the Spanish program, students may take AP in their 4th year. Many of those students are sophomores. French and Chinese do not have AP programs at the moment. Once a student reaches level 4, they may also choose to enroll in the IB Diploma program classes. At level 4, there are multiple options. There is a regular level 4 class, there is an IB standard level class, and an IB higher level class. The standard level and higher level classes are 2-year classes at Mason. New students who come into the program often take a placement test so that they know where they should begin in the curriculum that is established. We can't wait to see you in our classes.
Next, we have Ms. Sample, our collaborative team leader for Visual and Performing Arts, or VPA, present on the VPA department.
Hello, my name is Jamie Sample, and in addition to being the choral director here at George Mason High School, I'm also the CTL for Visual and Performing Arts for grades 6 through 12. Here in the Little City, students have a wide variety of options when it comes to electives. So why should they choose the arts? The arts allow students to explore expression. They learn different ways to express themselves and in turn understand the expressions of others. The arts allow us to see and connect to global issues in unique ways. Time in the arts is an important change in a rigorous academic day. Arts have their own rigor, and they require different skills. Arts aren't just about talent, but they are about building skills as well. And during those times, in arts classes, in ensembles, in theatrical experiences, we build connections and we build community. As you can see in our course sequence, there are lots of ways to experience the arts in 4 years at Mason. Take a look at our visual arts programs. We do recommend that most students start in Art 1, but that may be as a freshman, sophomore, or junior, or senior. Maybe after Art 1, you decide to focus on photography or ceramics, or continue into Art 2. Our juniors may find themselves in Art 3, a second course of ceramics, maybe even stepping into IB Art as part of the diploma program. Our music classes offer a wide variety of experiences, everything from wind ensemble to symphonic band, chamber singers, concert choir, guitar, and, in the junior and senior levels, IB music. Check with Ms. West and Ms. Sample, myself, the directors of these ensembles, to see where you best fit here at Mason. Maybe you've always wanted to study guitar. Maybe you're looking for a way to enrich your study in your ensembles by participating in IB music. We hope that you find a place to experience music all 4 years here at Mason. Theater class isn't just about performing. Theater class is also about directing, writing, producing, understanding the history of the theater, understanding how the past influences the present, finding your place in that big space of the theater. Sometimes that's on the stage, sometimes it's behind the stage. And if you find that your student is drawn to that backstage role, I encourage you to explore our technical theater class as well. We also offer a program in film studies. We have film studies at levels 1 and 2, as well as part of our IB diploma program. This includes the study of film as well as the making of films. Students gain skills in editing, in writing, in designing programs, as well as their study and understanding of film. As you can see, students have a wide variety of options when they choose to explore the arts at Mason. I encourage you to discuss these options with your students. Think about the overall design of their school day and their 4-year program. Help them to find that balance and give them space to express themselves, to change gears, to build connections and community.
This slide further articulates the course sequencing for visual and performing arts courses. We have many elective course offerings, and we would like to invite you to watch the videos created by many of our teachers. We hope you will visit this link to see many of our CTE, VPA, and other elective classes described by our teachers. Last but definitely not least, we have Mr. Coast, our IB coordinator, presenting to you about the IB Diploma program. This slide briefly explains what will be included in Mr. Coast's video, as well as his contact information. Please feel free to reach out to him if you have any additional questions after viewing his video.
Hi, everybody. My name is Dan Coast. I'm the IB Diploma Program Coordinator here at George Mason High School. I'm happy to say that we've had this program at George Mason High School since 1981. Long before I got involved, I actually started with IB as a classroom teacher in 1997 and became a coordinator of a program, IB program, in 2003. Tonight, I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about the benefits of going for an IB diploma. I'll talk about the course requirements of an IB diploma, how IB awards the diploma, and also some of the core requirements that must be completed by students who are seeking an IB diploma. These are core requirements beyond the classroom work of the 6 classes or 7 classes they may be taking. Now, last year, 81% of our seniors took one or more IB classes. Class of 2021, our current seniors, this number will actually be about 100%, as all of our IB seniors are involved in IB English Language and Literature or IB Literature. And so this is a great opportunity for students here in Falls Church City to really get into the IB program, at least in the English classes, if not beyond those. Now, what are the benefits of an IB education? And I just simply will put it in 3 bullet points, but by far the #1 reason is for college preparation. Students in this country still go off unprepared in some cases for that rigors of college. I can remember when I went to college in 1978 for the first time. I remember the professor up there saying during freshman orientation that 1/3 of the students in that room would not complete their first year of college, because that was true across the country. That number still holds true today by many reports, that 1/3 of college freshmen don't complete their first year of college. I will say, having been a coordinator since 2003, I've had countless number of students tell me as they come back from college how well prepared they are for what college professors are expecting, having taken IB Diploma Program courses at high school with us. So college preparation, of course, is the number one thing. Now, I can say admissions process is important too. I have 2 juniors, a boy-girl twin in my house. So this fall, I know college admissions process will be heavy on our minds. And what are college admissions officers looking for? Well, I can tell you they are looking for students who have taken the IB credential, because it does speak very highly to their ability to be successful in college. And we'll talk a little bit about possible college credit, though actually probably very little. I don't think this is a reason why we should go into IB classes. Certainly when it happens, it's great, but college credits, those standards are set by individual schools. And if your student scores high enough on the exam, remember, it's not the course in AP or IB that gets you college credit, it's actually the exam score. If your exam score is high enough and the college accepts it, then you can get some possible college credit. But that is not the reason why we really should be taking the rigors of IB classes in high school. It's really these first 2 bullet points on the slide, I would argue, are the most important reasons. Let's listen to a college admissions officer talk about how IB can often be viewed by college admissions officers.
The key is always to talk about what motivates you to learn, whether you took the full IB diploma or whether you took an individual course. You want to talk about what it is about that academic curriculum or experience that drew you to it. Universities and colleges are looking for people who are interested in learning, who want to learn, and who are following their own interests. And whether you took the full credential or just an individual course, you can describe how you've been pursuing your own intellectual interests. Learning can happen in lots of different ways, in an individual course or in a complete curriculum. But as long as students can articulate what they have taken away from their education and where it's leading them, then I think they're going to have strong applications.
There we are. So certainly students who are taking an IB curriculum are demonstrating to college admissions officers that they are looking for the most rigorous education available at their high school. And that speaks very highly to students who are going for an IB diploma and off to college. Now, if you look at the application process, here's some schools. These are the 20 most popular institutions by IB students in this country, where they tend to send their applications for college. And you can see, well, let's take a look at University of Virginia, for example, here where the red arrow is. Notice that 64% of IB diploma candidates are accepted at the University of Virginia at the time this study was done. 32%, only 32% of the total population is accepted at UVA. So you're much more likely to get into some of these schools where admissions can be quite rigorous. Take, for example, Yale University. 18% of IB diploma students will get in there. Doesn't sound high, but it's a very competitive school. Only 7% of the general population tends to get into Yale. So the IB diploma speaks very well to an admissions officer that you have gone for the most rigorous education available to you. And of course, they are now seeing the success of these students at their institutions. Here's a list of colleges where transcripts are sent. Certainly, this is not just Mason is kind of a look at the main schools by students in the United States where they send their IB diploma transcripts. You can see University of VCU, University of Virginia, Virginia Tech, George Mason are all on that list of the top 20 or 25. We do have a lot of IB schools here in Virginia, and certainly the state schools get a lot of applications that come from IB diploma candidates. We send our students, of course, all over the world, let alone the United States, out of George Mason, and certainly the IB credentials they carry with them helps them greatly in that admissions process. Let me slide down here for a minute. The IB learner profile, I think, is one thing that is really unique to IB, and I think what helps our teachers and the curriculum writers for IB and our students really get focused on what is important. And beyond just being knowledgeable, and certainly being knowledgeable about topics is important, but IB emphasizes that students have a much more balanced approach to how they become lifelong learners. And this is true throughout the way we assess students in IB. If you look at an extended essay, for example, beyond being knowledgeable about a topic you're writing about, you have to be an inquirer. It's okay to ask not just the initial research question, but questions in general as you pursue your topic. You have to be principled, of course, as you write that paper, but you also have to be balanced in your approach. You have to consider counter arguments. You have to consider the merits of those counter arguments. You have to be thinking about reflective on the merits of the sources that you are using. So the IB learner profile is alive and well in IB. It's not just a poster on the wall, and it drives home the instruction and the assessment and the way that students are approached by their teachers. We try to develop the entire learner, and that's a great thing for college admissions officers to know, and they do know. Now, we do have 6 AP courses here, and I'm often asked, what is the difference between IB and AP? Well, of course, they're both challenging, and they are designed for college-bound students. And as I said, they can give you some college credit with some good exam scores. But the philosophy of education is very, very different. In that previous slide, I just shared with you the learner profile. IB is not so concerned that you know all the places, dates, and names of a single part of American history. What they do care about is, can you compare it to other histories around the world? Can you see themes that exist from one country to another, from one movement to another, from one time to another? And can you communicate that information well? We both, IB and AP, have an externally marked exam, but beyond that, I will say IB also is a much more holistic way of assessing students. We have assessments that are marked in the classrooms by the teacher using IB rubrics. They're called internal assessments because they're marked internally, and they are also sent off to be part of the examination process. In IB, you've got to be in the class to take the IB exam. However, with College Board and AP exams, they do allow students just to sign up for the exam. And we do have about a dozen or so students every year who do that and study for an AP exam on their own. But that's also a notable difference. You have to be in an IB class to take the IB exam. So practical considerations. Yeah, you do absolutely prepare for collegiate studies and lifelong learning. IB classes as well as AP classes here at George Mason are weighted 1.0 in the grade point average. So if you in fact have an A in an IB class or an AP class, it will be factored into your GPA as a 5.0. So that 4-point scale gets bumped 1 point with each letter grade. A B, instead of a 3.0 average into the GPA, becomes a 4.0. So they are weighted classes, and that's also very helpful. And college admissions officers, they do look at the GPA of students that are applying to their school. They're well aware that every school district has their own weighting categories, but nonetheless, it is a great bump. And certainly for some colleges that have a minimum GPA to even have an application looked at, that can be helpful. Now, colleges, of course, don't look at just GPA, though. They want to see the rigor on the high school transcript. They're looking to see if a student has maximized, as much as they're able, the educational program available at the high school they attend. And certainly if we have an IB program, as colleges know we do, it's on our profile, then they want to see how much IB can the student reasonably challenge themselves with and maintain a good GPA. Let me move myself right up here. And remember, college credits can come with exam scores, but exam scores really aren't even seen by colleges until after the student has already applied and been accepted. Colleges are going to be making decisions by, say, May 1st of the student's senior year. The IB exam scores don't come out until July after the senior year. So certainly colleges in the US are not looking at exam scores for admission. They're looking at the locally awarded grades and the rigor on the high school transcript to make those decisions for admission. So let's take a look at the core requirements of IB. And I'm going to be using acronyms like CAS, EE, or TOK. Creativity, activity, and service is a requirement of students going for the IB diploma. It's basically documenting and reflecting on extracurricular activities the student may be involved with. Students who go for an IB diploma do have to complete an extended essay. They choose a topic, they write about it, they have a mentor in the building, and I'll talk more about that momentarily. And students must take a class. It's a 2-semester class, beginning of the, end of the junior year and beginning of the senior year, called Theory of Knowledge, TOK. It's a philosophy course, and it really examines how we know what we know. And it's a great class, and it's a requirement if you're doing the IB diploma. I'll talk more about that momentarily as well. Now, also, I'll reference you to our George Mason High School website. Under academics, you will find information I talk about with the IB program posted there on our website as well. I also use some other acronyms, higher level, which is HL classes or exams, and standard level, which is also used by IB, also for the class name standard level or the exam itself, the standard level exam. We'll give you some examples in a moment. So if you're going to go for an IB diploma, you have to understand that there are 6 subject areas that must be explored for an IB diploma. And 3 of those must be at the higher level. These will be 2-year classes, junior and senior year. That's why sophomores, if they're going to go for an IB diploma, need to have made up their mind during course selection time coming up here in February. So you have to have 3 higher level exams. They need to be over a 2-year period. You also have to have 3 standard level exams. And those, well, they can be 1 year. At least one of them should be a 2-year study, but you need to have 3 of those as well. Some of the standard level courses we offer are 2-year program classes, and some are 1 year. And so depending on the course itself. Oh, in addition, of course, to having the 6 classes, you'll need to take the TOK class, so a 7th class, only a full year in duration, semester, junior year, semester, senior year, and completion of the extended essay and the creativity, activity, and service. Those requirements also have to be documented and met for an IB diploma to be awarded. So what do we offer here at Mason? We don't have all the IB classes that IB offers, but we have a very, very nice sampling of the coursework IB offers to students around the world. So if you're going to go for an IB diploma, you're going to have 1 exam in studies in language and literature. So we have English literature at the higher level, 2-year course. We also language and literature, which is a standard level course. These have different requirements, as you can imagine, and I'll talk about how you can find out about those in just a moment. But you'll need to take 1 of those if you're going for an IB diploma. Additionally, you're going to need a language course, either French, Spanish, or Mandarin Chinese. Notice I have higher level, standard level there, and another term I have not used yet, ab initio. All 3 of these languages do have an exam core and a course for students who have not really reached the IB B level, what they call the B level for language acquisition. So for example, we've had students transfer in, they're only in French 1 as a sophomore because they didn't have language at their previous school, we can still get them up to Spanish or French 2 and 3 and give them the ab initio exam. They won't be quite as progressed, of course, in the language of the student in their 5th or 6th year taking the B-level exam, but the ab initio exam satisfy the need for students who have transferred in. Might be a little behind in their language because you will need a language exam for an IB diploma. Also, individuals and societies. You can see the sampling of classes we have there. History is very popular because it meets some of the requirements for the Virginia diploma as well. But you are going to have at least one exam from individuals and societies for an IB diploma. To really understand in a nutshell, what each course entails, I'm going to take you to a website right now and show you how you can look for yourself, because for me to do a presentation on every course would be incredibly long and boring. So let's take a look here. If you go to this particular website, you can just Google IB Recognition Resource Library. And here on this page, it's on a public web page IB runs. If you go down and you'll find here, where am I looking for? Oh, I'm sorry, it's down here. Subject briefs, DP subject briefs. And suppose your student is thinking, well, I might want to take psychology. I'm hearing really great things about the course at Mason. I'd like to know a little more about it. In lieu of talking to the students directly and to the teacher, here on this page, you can get a one-page course brief. And here you'll find information about the syllabus, just a general overview of what it covers. You'll find out how assessment is done. Notice paper 1 is that sit-down exam in May, followed by the next morning when you'll have another sit-down exam in the May, and also a paper 3 if you're doing higher level. And also you'll find out what is done in the classroom, an experimental study here that is done, and that's also part of that overall assessment that students will need to complete for an IB psychology grade. Sample questions that you might find on the exam are also shown here as well. So this is a great resource. It is, again, on an IB page called University Recognition Resource Center. You can find it by Googling it quickly. So a great way to find out more about the classes required or the classes offered for an IB diploma. Now, as we move into sciences here at Mason, you can see that we have biology, chemistry, physics, environmental systems, which is a wonderful course, and societies. That's a 2-year SL course, by the way. But also notice we have computer science and design technology. In the IB world, these are considered sciences. And maybe not so much with the Department of Education here in Virginia, but for an IB diploma, they would work as a science exam, or what we call a group 4 science exam for an IB diploma. Notice that design technology is now offered at HL and SL. That's new this year. And computer science, again, has always been offered at that level. Now, the mathematics courses, you may have heard of done some recent changes in IB. We are up and now fully running with the different three classes that we offer: mathematics analysis and approaches, HL and SL, and mathematics applications and interpretations, and that's an SL course. Those you might want to take a look at, talk to your math teachers, find out more details, go to the subject briefs I just showed you on the public webpage of IB and get a course description of both. But certainly math teachers do a great job of counseling their students of where they go next in the IB pathways, and they will be guided by teacher and by counselor to the proper math course before they graduate. All 3 of these classes, the HL, the SL, and the SL for math applications, all work for an IB diploma. And finally, in the IB arts and electives, George Mason has music, theater, visual arts, film studies, all offered at SL and HL, and all can be used, or any one of those can be used for an IB diploma as well. If a student elects not to take one of these 4 arts and electives, they can take a second group 3, so psychology and economics, for example, for an IB diploma, or they could take a second science if they choose as well. So they're not limited to just the arts for the diploma. They certainly can if that's their passion, but they can also take a second science or a second, basically social studies course, if you will, for an IB diploma as well. Now, I mentioned one thing that makes IB really special compared to AP is the way we assess students. Just take for one example here, this is the IB English Literature HL course, 2-year course here at Mason, and you can see that paper 1 is going to happen for 2 hours and 15 minutes in May. You can see it's a guided literary analysis that they'll be working on during that exam. Then the next day, they'll come in and see me again for paper 2, and there they'll do a comparative essay on some works that they have studied in class. These higher level students also will be writing an essay concerning one of the works they've studied in class, and they'll work on that during the school year, and that will also be submitted for IB to score. Notice all 3 of these, paper 1, paper 2, higher level essays, are all referred to as external assessments, meaning students have them scored externally by IB moderators and examiners. In addition to those 3 components, the IB exam score will also have one internal assessment, and that's an assessment scored by the teacher. This tends to be a little scary for some students, but they actually have to sit down and talk about a passage for 15 minutes and get recorded one-on-one with their teacher, and that also will be shipped off to IB, at least the assessment internally. A sample of them will be shipped off to IB to be scored to make sure the teacher is using the rubric properly. And that all can together becomes an IB English score. So it's not just a sit-down exam, but an assessment that is done during the school year here, the higher level essay, and the internal assessment oral exam that is done also during the school year. So each exam score is scored anywhere from 1 to 7 points. And that exam score, again, is a reflection of both internal and external assessments that IB will use to determine a final score of 1 to 7. Students must have all components in order to get that score. So in the example I just showed you, if a student did not sit for the oral exam, the overall IB English higher level score would be an N, no grade. Even if they sit for the exams in May, they must complete all 4 pieces of the assessment in order to get an overall score of 1 to 7. So getting an IB diploma, let's take a look a little about the nuances. Certainly you've got to write your extended essay. You got to complete the TOK course, and you're going to have to document your extracurricular activities, what we call the CAS activities. And then they'll take a look at the IB exam scores too. And there you're going to need 24 points on 6 IB exams. It's 24 points on 6 exams. Now, that's about 12 points on the higher level, and you must hit that 12 point for the higher levels in order for a diploma to be awarded. If you score only 11 points on the higher level, but a whole bunch of points on the standard level, an IB will not award a diploma for that. So your higher level exams have to be your stronger courses. And that's why students should very carefully choose which 3 of the higher level exams they are going to pursue. They should be their stronger courses, knowing they're going to have to average at least 4 points out of a total of 7, remember, on each of those exams. Of course, there's some other nuances. You can't have any grades of 1, and you can have no grade of N, which I said is when you don't complete a component of the overall exam. So 24 points, 12 or more have to be on HL exams. To show you just practically what that might look like, here's a student's transcript on the IB exam scores. And here you can see a student had 3 higher level exams, scored 12 points on them. So zippity-doo. That's good news. We're now set up for an IB diploma. Let's see if the standard level exams get over that hump of 24. Indeed, you can see they scored 15 points on standard level exams, and so they have 27 points. And the IB exam can be, the IB diploma can be awarded based on that. But the TOK and the extended essay were both very good as well. This student had an A on the TOK essay and a B on the extended essay, got a bonus 3 points. And so in fact, they got 30 points. And of course, the diploma is awarded anytime you get 24 or more. Let's take a look at what that TOK and extended essay bonus looks like. There's a matrix IB uses to determine if extra points for an IB diploma can be awarded. Here you can see if a student, for example, gets an A on both the TOK and the extended essay, 3 extra points can be awarded. If they get a B on both essays, well, 2 extra points can be awarded. A C on both could get you 1. But notice if you fail either essay, a failing condition results, and a failing condition or a no grade on either would be no IB diploma. So students have to obviously avoid having extended essay, wait to the last second and not doing well with it. Extended essays have to score D or better. TOK essays have to score D or better, even to be in the running for an IB diploma. And certainly good grades can add to your diploma total. In fact, I've seen that pay off every year for a few students. Take, for example, this student, they have their 12 points in higher level exams, but notice their standard level exams fell a little short of reaching that mark of 24 points. Here they had only 11 points on their standard level exams. But the bonus points with a B on the essay, both essays, gave them the bonus points to get over the hump of 24 points. Diplomas awarded, thanks to the TOK and extended essay results. Now, I mentioned that the core, and just real briefly, the core is just so phenomenal for IB students. It really makes it unique compared to an AP program in other schools. First and foremost, students must document their extracurricular activities. And this is creativity, activity, and service. It's education outside the classroom. And it's the development of that learner profile I had mentioned earlier. So students will have to engage in pursuits outside the classroom, but also they'll have to reflect on those pursuits. So, for example, there are 7 learning outcomes that IB is looking for when students engage in activities outside the classroom. Do they, for example, initiate and plan a CAS experience on their own or as a group? Do they demonstrate any engagement with issues of global significance, world hunger or local hunger, of course, environmental issues? Let's look at the top one. Do you identify your own strengths and develop areas for growth? So students are really asked to be reflective on what they're doing outside of the classroom. Beyond just checking the box, you did something, you need to be able to reflect on these 7 learning outcomes at least once during the course of your final 2 years of high school. So the criteria for CAS, it has to be real. You have to have a real outcome from what you're doing. It has to be a personal challenge along the way included of that, and thoughtful consideration of how you are reporting and reflecting on your experiences in that activity. It occurs over the final really 18 months of the diploma program, starting in the beginning of the junior year and culminating almost towards the end of that senior year. Of course, what is CAS in real practical terms? This is about anything you're doing outside the classroom. Certainly, there's a lot of things that are school-based. You can see examples here, but certainly there are a lot of things that are community-based that also apply. It does not have to be school-based activity where the student is to engage in CAS. What CAS is not, it's not a one-on-one service related thing, a one and done. I mean, you can't just go to, say, the soup kitchen for 2 hours and you did a little bit there and you left and you didn't reflect on it. And that's really not what we're looking for. It has to be an activity with measurable goals, and you certainly can't get paid for a CAS activity. You have to reflect on at least one of the learner outcomes for any activity that is considered CAS, and you can't involve yourself with proselytizing or any activity that might be divisive. That also would not count for CAS. You also have to do the TOK courses I mentioned if you're going to do the IB diploma. Now, the IB TOK course is a phenomenal course. I've had the great opportunity of teaching it myself in my career, and it is interdisciplinary. Students really will be exploring how we know things in science and math and social studies, the arts, and you also get a perspective into other cultures. You look at things, how it's viewed across the world, not just here in your local community, to give you some empathy to what other people may be thinking and why they may be thinking that. The assessment in TOK, where you're reflecting on what you know and how you know it, students will be asked to create an exhibition, and they will kind of show that to an audience, maybe kind of like a science fair display, but also they'll be writing an essay. They'll receive a prompt, 6 prompts at the beginning of their senior year, and from there they will pick one and address it in an essay of about 1,600 words. That is also sent out to be scored to IB, where that overall grade I mentioned earlier, A to E, can be awarded by IB examiners. The essay itself, the fact you get it in advance is wonderful, but certainly putting together the thoughts and putting together the research and ideas to support your analysis of that prompt can be a little challenging, but it's a great exercise. It's basically what a philosophy course might ask students to do in college, beginning college. The way we've structured TLK here, students will take it the second semester of the junior year. I think I mentioned that earlier, and the first semester of the senior year. Now, some students might be in band or theater, and they can't really fit in a TLK class during the school day. We do have TLK during the school day. This year, last year, we had 2 sections during the class period regular school day, but we also do offer it at 7 a.m. Monday through Thursday in the 2 semesters I mentioned, and that can be done before the school day begins if a student needs to get the TLK credit and still leave room for other things they're doing towards an IB diploma during the school day. So there isn't a 7 a.m. option. It actually is quite popular. Many students take it in the morning before the school day begins. So it's an option if that's needed. And the extended essay, I won't belabor this, but it's about a 4,000 word maximum, and the students get to be very creative and critical in their personal evaluation of something that's interesting to them. It's got to be interesting to them because it really is done outside the confines of any classroom requirement. They can find their own mentor here in the building, and they're kind of required, and they certainly can bounce ideas, show an outline, and get some guidance as to a successful completion of the essay. But this will be introduced to students sometimes during the late semester, first semester of the junior year, and is expected to be turned in the first, really would love to have it the first grading period of the senior year, if at all possible. It can be a little challenging for students because, again, it is outside the confines of class requirement and really does involve some independent work and initiative to get it completed in a timely fashion. So these are also scored A to E, and you can see the criteria. I've highlighted a few things to get an A on extended essay. But for those of us who've written essays for college before, you know, you have to really find a relevant research area. You got to use relevant sources. You got to analyze those sources, and you got to be able to write well and put together thoughts well to answer a specific question, a research question. It's a great exercise. I know certainly every paper I wrote in college got better as I went. I got better at it. And here we're giving students in the IB program their first real good stab at a college level extended essay before they head out to college. When they are in their freshman year of college and writing what for many students will be their first essay, they would have had the experience of an extended essay here in high school and making them better prepared to produce a better product in college. Just some examples, 3 examples of some essays we've seen in the past. Certainly the first one, how does US propaganda during the Cold War compare to Soviet propaganda at the same time period? So your students are really asked to take a question that might be somewhat unique and then really do some comparative analysis, consider the relevance of their sources as they examine a question. So again, students must be interested in the topic they choose. It has to be a passion, or the essay is really difficult to complete. It has to be something the student really wants to write about. So particularly for sophomores, and I certainly for those of you who have children before the sophomore age right now, maybe they're only freshmen or 8th grade, but you want to consider which pathway to pursue. Because if you want to do an IB diploma, you really have to know that by, say, January, February of the sophomore year. Because remember, so many of our IB classes are 2-year classes, junior and senior year. So you need to know moving into the junior year, this is something you want to pursue. So an IB diploma, remember, you're going to have to take 6 of those IB level courses, 1 in each group: English, math, science, individuals and societies, a language. For example, you have to do the extended essay, complete CAS, and take a TLK course. For students who are not doing the full IB diploma, certainly there is the IB courses path. And There they'll take at least one IB level course. The more they can reasonably challenge themselves with, the better when it comes down to preparing for college. Certainly you can do an extended essay, CAS, or a TOK and not be a full diploma student. You can do those as standalones. And every year we have a couple students who do one or more of those just because they're really interested in the academic pursuit of completing that activity. Honors coursework in 9th and 10th grade is recommended, but it's not a requirement. Open admissions here. We're not trying to keep any student who wishes to get into IB coursework, let alone an IB diploma complete pathway. If you are interested, the door is open. But certainly honors coursework is recommended in 9th, 10th grade. And these students typically are getting the advanced studies diploma from Virginia, in addition to the IB diploma, which is awarded out of Geneva, Switzerland, ultimately. So making a plan to pursue is critical because the IB diploma does have its requirements. And so certainly if you look at English across the board, you want to pursue, it's pretty easy to get into IB English classes, everybody does, but deciding whether you're going to do SL or HL, for example, would be nice to know. Also looking at it year by year, where are you in 9th grade? Are you already in honors geometry? Are you just beginning algebra 1? Are you already in algebra 2? Those kinds of things will dictate where you wind up in the IB math sequences. But I can tell you, if you're getting into even algebra 1 as a freshman, we can get you into the IB math sequence. You just have to self-accelerate a little bit, and your math teachers will talk to you about that. But you can see that all these subject areas will be needed for an IB diploma. And so I put them here on this sample planning sheet. And what I'm showing you here is just one transcript that could be developed for a student. There are many, many other pathways and options. You may recall the list of classes we offer here that I'm not showing on this slide. This is just one example. 10th grade, as you get into your English and your language course, keep your language alive. A lot of our students take AP US government to get the government credit the state requires, also get an AP class. Well over about 120 sophomores this year are doing that particular course, and so forth. It'll be the last year you take your PE class, though, that's required, at least required by the state of Virginia, allowing some of the IB coursework to sneak in the 11th and 12th grade year when it begins. So looking at those final 2 years, remember a lot of these courses are 2-year courses. English really is a 2-year course. A world language really is a 2-year course. Some students take the exam in their junior year, and you can work that out individually with me or your language teacher, but that is possible. Typically, students will take 2 years of IB history or 2 years of IB psychology for their social studies or group 3 course. This student's taking 2 years of biology. It is a 2-year course, as is chemistry, IB chemistry. We do have an IB physics course, which is a 1-year course. So really knowing your options is helpful in doing the planning for those final 2 years. If you're doing an IB diploma, remember, you got to keep TOK in that second semester of the junior year. Here it is. Whoop, go back for a second, sorry. Or in the first semester of the senior year. And you will need a 6 IB exam course. Remember, will it be a true elective out of the arts, music, theater, film, or visual arts? Or will it in fact be a second social studies course, what we call individuals in society, or will it be a second science course? But you will need to pick up a 6 IB exam course, remember, for an IB diploma if that is your desire. So your next steps, throwing a lot of information out here with you, but for the class of 2023, our current sophomores, you will be meeting with your with your counselors here in the month of I think it's February, maybe early March, but you'll be done meeting with your counselors. And our counseling staff here is phenomenal of understanding what an IB diploma requires. So certainly if you haven't had a chance to meet with me, and I hope that you will, you send me an email and I will set up a Zoom where we can just talk through some of your questions and options. So I do recommend that students and parents in the class of 2023, current sophomores, do reach out to me to talk about any questions you may have. But I will again credit our counselors for being a wealth of knowledge all of our students will have to sit down with them individually as they plan their courses for the junior year. And if you're interested in an IB diploma, they'll make sure that you set yourselves up for the coursework needed to move in that direction. But please reach out to me if you have any particular questions and if you want to talk about your IB diploma path. Here in this virtual world, I really wish I was here in the building with all of you, and maybe that will happen sooner rather than later. Thank you for listening. So here's my contact information. I will tell you the phone number displayed there, I hear will be active. I just don't have a phone in my office yet. I assume that'll happen in the next few days. So please call me if you can. Otherwise, just email me. You can see my email displayed there. If you want to set up a quick meeting or you have a quick question an email can answer, please reach out. I'm here to assist. I'm here to help. I'm here to answer your questions. Also, you should know that Jamie Sample is also our extended essay and our CAS coordinator. She is a wealth of information as well. If you have particular questions about CAS or the extended essay, I encourage you to reach out to her. If you're interested in about course sequencing and preparing for an IB diploma generally with coursework, please reach out to me. I hope this didn't run too long and you're still watching with me. Hope to be talking with some of you soon who might have questions, and good luck to all of you who are pursuing the IB diploma currently or are looking to move in that direction starting next school year. Thank you all and good night.
Here, you will see our course registration timeline. As you can see, our counselors have already presented to our rising 10th, 11th, and 12th grade students in their stable groups. These presentations will be made available on our school counseling website if you would like to see them as well. Counselors are currently meeting with all of our rising 12th grade students and will be meeting with our rising 10th and 11th grade students in the next few weeks. Our rising 9th grade students received this course request presentation on February 2nd. And the Henderson counselors will be meeting with their rising 9th grade students individually as well over the next few weeks. We hope to have all of our scheduling meetings completed then by March 12th. Thank you so much for joining us for this presentation. If you have any questions, you can feel free to reach out to the collaborative team leaders you saw in this video or to your student's counselor. Please feel free to contact us if you have any questions. Thank you so much for your time, and we hope this presentation was helpful.